different flavor
Wow.
compounds. I mean, that's more than 2 to 3 times more than what we find in a wine grape.
Over 700 different compounds are found in cacao, or the food of the gods in Latin, providing a rich spectrum of flavors most people aren't aware of. To ensure chocolate lovers have a chance to experience one of the oldest chocolate varieties in the world called the Nacional, Toac Chocolate is going the extra mile to preserve the ancient product, which the Incas once considered to be more valuable than gold.
Nacional actually traces its genetic lineage back more than 5,000 years to the very beginning of chocolate or cacao in Ecuador. We can say that Ecuador is actually the birthplace of cacao. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, Ecuador produced the Nacional variety, and it was the most sought after and most famed variety of cacao by all European chocolatiers. And it wasn't until 1916 that a disease came to Ecuador and wiped out this variety, so much so that it got to the point where people believed that this ancient variety was now extinct. We actually found 9 heirloom ancient Nacional trees that have been genetically tested in Ecuador, and we're using those to create a conservation program, a genetic bank, if you like. It's from those trees that we produce our chocolate.
To save Ecuador's rare Nacional cacao variety from the brink of extinction, the clippings of the genetically verified Nacional trees are replanted in the reserve, managed by the Third Millennium Alliance. By working closely with the non-profit foundation, which protects over 700 hectares of endangered rainforest along the Ecuadorian coastal mountain range, they are able to successfully preserve the heirloom variety. To coincide with the idealism of craft chocolate movement, which is to give back to the local community, the farmers are getting paid 8 times the local market price, a premium that is well above fair trade wage. Over the past decade, you have seen a hike of love for fine wine, artisanal coffee. Do you think Chinese consumers will have the same appreciation for fine chocolate or craft chocolate, or in your case, premium chocolate?
Chocolate is the ideal candidate as the next big thing in terms of specialty foods. The Chinese consumers, their palates have been developed in such a way that it's quite an easy step for them to take with fine chocolate.
With the growing awareness of food sustainability, Toac Chocolate is not alone when it comes to pushing forward this visionary mission. Other players have joined the green efforts as well, including Chicago-based company Shoka, which makes natural sodas crafted from pure Ecuadorian cacao fruit juice. Shoka uses or upcycles this juice, which is normally discarded during the production of chocolate. By doing this, the sustainability of chocolate production can be increased, and at the same time, cacao farmers are also given an additional source of revenue. With health benefits and saving the planet set as priorities, the definition of real chocolate may be reconsidered, and the market may be reshuffled for the better. Louisa Lee for CGTN. And as part of the China tour, Xixing Dance Theater has staged its contemporary production Unknown at the Shanghai International Dance Center over the weekend. It was the 4th year the piece has been performed in the country. Reporter Huang Yuanqing has more.
As a tradition of the Unknown series, the performance is divided into 2 parts, one new creation and one classic. The new dance Darkness is performed first. Created by Xixing Dance Theater's guest choreographer Pan Yu, Darkness blends contemporary dance and hip-hop, while being described as a brief venture into the unknown.
它有很多的动作其实用了很多的 pop 和 wave， 然后就有很多
With a number of movements like pop and wave being performed by contemporary dancers, Darkness is an interesting attempt to combine various dance styles together. It's not about a specific story, but rather features the most secret and personal part of everyone's inner being.
吸引自己不断的去深入自己。
Layers is the second half of the performance. Created for Xixing Dance Theater by Israeli director Eyala Dadon, Layers premiered at Beijing's National Grand Theater in 2016. Dadon says everything has layers, like color, sound, clothes, material, sense, sauce, and so on. The choreographer believes the mixing of layers can connect different cultures and help them understand each other. The piece also features popular dancer Liu Jia, who shot to fame last year on the reality show Dance Smash, a Hunan satellite TV production.
整个舞蹈风暴留给大家印象非常深刻的一支舞蹈，其实还是我的第一支舞 Layers。
Layers is created for each and every dancer in the show. The choreographer tried to leave enough room for us to magnify our advantages. So I am just being me through the whole dance, physically and psychologically.
我们每个人演的都是我们自己。
As more reality shows, like The Greatest Dancer and Street Dance of China, soar in the ratings, more people are willing to see live dance shows.
网络的这个流量它其实非常的大，但是只有你在剧场里，
These different reality shows have attracted people to learn more about dance. But I think it's only when you come to the theater that you will feel the magical atmosphere created by dancers.
所带来的这种能量同步。
舞蹈其实是一个非常意味深长的。
Dance is actually an art with deep meaning behind it, so it takes time for people to know, accept, and love it. Thanks to the reality shows, audiences are realizing that dance is not far away from us. By cultivating people's interest in dance, I believe the public will gradually start watching performances in theaters.
我们也能够看懂舞蹈，读懂舞蹈。
Established in 2014, the Xuexin Dance Theater focuses on body research, contemporary dance education, and the creation of original contemporary works. And now we'll move to Zhejiang Province for performances in Ningbo and Hangzhou. 黄元婷 ICS for CGTN, Shanghai.
Next on Culture Express, the National Art Museum in Beijing showcases an exhibition of works from a special group of Chinese artists.
You're watching breaking news on CGTN. With the latest long-moving headlines around the world. Welcome to the world today on CGTN.
Welcome back to Culture Express here on CGTN. In Beijing, the National Art Museum of China is opening an exhibition of works by a special group of Chinese artists from the early 20th century. They studied in France and helped shape Chinese art in the modern era. Let's take a look.
At the National Art Museum of China in central Beijing, the exhibition of donated works is honoring pieces from pioneering artists who studied in France some 90 years ago. Wu Weishan, the museum's director and a renowned sculptor, was especially impressed by a horse painting from 1930.
A close examination of this painting by Chang Yu reveals his meticulous and purposeful application of the brush. You can even see the order of the strokes and how he polished and improved the image. This mass of black hue is definitely the stroke of a master. Although this is a work in a Western medium, it displays a close affinity to China's inkwash tradition. Its spirit was clearly inspired by the aesthetics of Chinese art.
Another highlight of the exhibition is a self-portrait by Pan Yuliang. The painting, created in 1945, is a bold blending of Impressionist techniques with the Oriental understanding of feminine beauty.
The most mesmerizing thing about the painting is the figure's gaze. It's so intense and prominent in the composition. The spectators simply cannot escape from it. Besides, the white porcelain, the cover of the book, and all other elements in the canvas help create a remarkable sense of space. It's such a fine portrait.
In the decades following the collapse of the Qing dynasty in 1911, many Chinese art students studied and worked in France, eventually shaping the modern fine art of China.
These artists all studied in Paris in the early 20th century. Some of them returned to China, while others stayed on to work in France and Europe. All of them exerted a profound influence on the development of modern Chinese fine art. It is important to study their works and learn from their techniques and their creative approaches. There's a treasure trove of historic and artistic sustenance in their works. Young artists should study them closely and draw inspiration from them.
Founded nearly 60 years ago, the National Art Museum of China houses over 110,000 artworks, about 30% of which were donated. 丁思约 CGTN.
In the UK, experts say they have digitally unwrapped 3 mummified animals from ancient Egypt using high-resolution 3D scans. Those behind the study believe their high-tech process has the potential to reveal new insights into the lives of ancient Egyptians over 2,000 years ago.
A mummified bird digitally unwrapped with the help of high-resolution 3D scans. British experts have used X-ray micro-CT scanning to gain greater insights into this, as well as 2 other mummified animals, a snake and a cat, more than 2,000 years after their deaths in ancient Egypt. Experts say the method of micro-CT scanning achieves a resolution 100 times greater than traditional medical CT scans. The high-resolution 3D images let them print 3D models and place them into virtual reality for close analysis.
Using the equipment we have within our imaging facility at the College of Engineering at Swansea University, we were able to see inside the animal mummies for the first time in 3 dimensions, and that's really helpful in trying to tease apart those different aspects like the species, the age, and how it died. And so from that, we were able to tell a lot about its history, how it lived, and how it died. And hopefully that will be useful for that field.
Analysis of the 3 mummified remains revealed the cat was actually a kitten, aged less than 5 months old. The bird has been identified as possibly a Eurasian kestrel thanks to virtual bone measurements. And the snake is likely an Egyptian cobra. Experts have even spotted evidence of kidney damage, which suggests the snake may have been deprived of water during its life. New discoveries are still being made. In January, archaeologists unveiled 16 ancient Egyptian tombs filled with sarcophagi and other artifacts from a vast burial ground. The team says animals, including cats, ibis, hawks, snakes, crocodiles, and dogs, were often buried with their owner as a food supply for the afterlife. But the most common animal mummies are thought to have been used as offerings to the gods.
There are estimated around 70 million animal mummies that were produced at the time in ancient Egypt. And through this technology, we just investigated three very different types, so a cat, a snake, and a bird. But this work could show a workflow for future investigation, potentially revealing lots of new insight into the animal lives at the time, but also of the people of the time, how they lived and worked, and the religious practices also.
The study was published in the journal Scientific Reports. 张梦圆 CGTN.
And Israeli youths have unearthed hundreds of gold coins stashed away in a clay vessel for more than a millennium. The treasure was discovered last Monday by teenagers volunteering at an excavation in central Israel, where a new neighborhood is planned to be built.
425 24-karat pre-gold coins were stowed in a clay jar. They were found by 2 18-year-olds taking part in an archaeological excavation by a hillside in Yavne.
We were digging strips along the square, and when I removed the soil with a hoe, I saw something that looked like leaves. I wanted to conceal them, but realized that they might be coins.